Part of what we were reviewing was also, well, what do we carry in terms of fear and patterns and self-imposed limitations, limiting belief structure, emotions, physical habits, whatever, everything, attachments, judgments. What are we holding on to? Some of which came from our childhood, things that we've taken on board and trained ourselves into that are actually no longer relevant. They're old values, old levels of ethics and virtue. They're an irrelevant vision for ourselves because they're not really who we are now, but also they disagree with what we need to be in order for the tree to come in and move in. And so just today we had this little talk around trauma as well, and how when you finally get to a place where you can face this trauma within you, and perhaps your mentor or a therapist or someone else, a friend, is there with you to be able to go, yes, I see it and I get it, I understand your experience, and you do that for yourself, because you've always got to do it for yourself. If you don't, it's going to help to have someone else do it and see you and acknowledge your pain and truly get that, but you've got to really do it for yourself to complete the healing, because that part of you is never going to fully be reconciled within yourself unless you bring yourself fully to yourself. It's the same with self-love. You can have so many people actually really love and accept you around you, but until you really go into that place deep within where you don't feel lovable, you have unworthiness, you don't feel accepted, and you stop rejecting yourself there, you stop judging yourself in that place, you actually go in and go, I see you and you're okay. Yes, you're not perfect, you might be broken, you might be wounded, there's weaknesses there, there's stupid things running, but hey, I'm a work in progress, we all works in progress, I'm okay, you're okay, I'm fucked, you're fucked, we're all okay, we're all fucked, it's just life happening. And for you to go then to have that deep acceptance and go, no matter what, even though you're a work in progress and we're still working on this stuff, I'm here loving you because you are still worthy of love. Love is not dependent on perfection. Love is always there. Love is what nurtures growth and evolution. Remember the third of the universal principles, the nurturance of life. That's expressed through love and wisdom. There's many flavors of nurturing life. Sometimes there might be the tough love that you need, that clear, impersonal, like stop your bullshit kind of love, the clear light of truth. All of these are just different aspects and flavors of love, higher love. But love is what nurtures one's evolution, the evolution of everything. It's the mother principle. The father principle guides the evolution of everything, keeps everything moving and guides in that correct alignment. It's that fire, that will that keeps moving forward. The mother is what nurtures and nourishes the process of evolution. You gotta bring love to yourself in order to evolve yourself. So this process of acknowledging, deeply acknowledging the parts of you that you've judged, the parts of you that are broken, that are wounded, the parts of you that are traumatized. To be present, to be grounded, connected to the earth, really connected and clicked in your heart center, in the core of your being, connected up to the tree, to your upstairs, and being here as much as you can with yourself, but not just the parts of yourself you're comfortable with, being here deeply present with the parts of yourself you're not comfortable with. And to just go, hey, I see you. I know you're there, and I'm sorry if I avoid you a lot of the time, I pretend you're not there, I try to hide you, like I'm ashamed of you, or I judge you, or I've run away from you, or I beat you up because you've caused me problems in the past. And remember, for you to be with that part of you, see it, hear it, acknowledge it, hold space for it to be truly, truly seen and heard in a way, doesn't mean you agree with it. Doesn't mean it's the right thing. It's not right or wrong, it's just what's there. It's just what's happened. It's just what you have to work with. And the only way you're going to get through it is by facing it, accepting it, holding it in a space of unconditional love, not feeding it love like you're pumping energy into it, which will only energize it. Just holding it in that neutral space of unconditional love that's going to help it transform. It's going to help it move on. Because you're loving it not just so it can take center stage and be heard and be seen and be special and be important. You're loving it so it can let go. These broken, wounded parts are not who you truly are. It's just energy that has to be accepted and released. But you've got to have that deep acknowledgement and deep acceptance first. The discomfort is only resistance. It's only the defenses you've put into place between you and that thing, that feeling, that part of you, so you wouldn't have to face it, but you're ready now. If you know it's there and you can get a feel for it, you're ready. You're never presented with anything you can't handle. That's universal law. And you gotta be at least as strong in your enlightened love and conditional love and acceptance as that part of you is strong in its pain. You gotta meet it, you gotta match it, and even a little more. Because otherwise, just like a kid having a tantrum that's got a stronger will than their parent, that part of you is gonna win and take over. Take the microphone, get on the stage and hijack the show. You don't want that. Breathe into that part of you, really sink deeper into being fully, deeply present with anything. It might be a pain, it might be a trauma, it might be grief, it might be unworthiness, it might be something you're ashamed of, something you don't like about yourself, something you're scared of, whatever it is. And just remember, it's just a feeling. It's not a real person. It's not an actual monster. It's just energy. It's just unresolved energy that you've been dragging along from some event in the past. I have pain, but I am not my pain. I have shame, but I am not my shame. I have anger, but I am not my anger. These things are objects, they're energetic objects within you. They're things, they're not you. But you've created those things, those feeling objects. And you can, through your acceptance and through bringing gratitude for yourself being able to face that, for the love and the support, the opportunity to heal, for the learning, whatever you can be grateful for. Thanks. Thank you for the opportunity to heal this. Thank you for the love I'm able to bring to this. Thank you for the support that I have. Thank you for what I've learned from this. Thank you for the fact that I'm ready to transcend this. And if that part of you has something to say, it's okay. Let it, but contain it. Just remember, you are not that. Don't get caught up in what it has to say. Be like a therapist, holding a space. I hear you, but the focus is always on the healing. How do we move forward? How do we heal this? How do we let it go? Because we can't stay there forever. That would be self-harm in evolutionary terms. Now's as good a time as any. Making your peace with it. Hey, I know what's happened. I know what I feel. I hear you. Yeah, I know you're angry. I know you're scared. I know you feel worthless. I see it, I hear it, I understand, I get it. And that, like, actually really do get it. Like, really have that compassion for that part of you. It's not just flat words, it's not just an intention. You actually must really have that compassionate sense of acceptance and acknowledgement for that part of you. There's nothing to judge. Understandable response to some of the stuff that's happened. You just know a better way now. And you're ready to move on. You're ready to no longer be defined by this experience. When you no longer judge and you make your peace with it and you're in acceptance and you realize it's just a thing that I can let go of, you'll feel the energy just starting to dissolve and starting to flow out, starting to naturally be released. And you can feel yourself with your new choice at that point. Whether that's self-love or worthiness, self-acceptance, commitment to the new, more soul presence. More courage, more whatever. Your heart will know the kind of presence, the kind of energy you need to fill that space with instead. More nurture, more kindness, more protection, more whatever. Love-based protection, not fear-based protection. More ethics, more light. Keep breathing and let that dissolve as you plant the new in there. And you let it ripple out and move in, spread out, anchor, ground. And you can start to fill yourself with the new while you're still dissolving the old too. That's okay. It's not always completely linear. But you gotta let it dissolve. This is not who I am. It is not what I am. It's just a feeling I carry from something that happened. It's an object. So many things are like that. We identify with feelings, with beliefs, with masks, but they're not who we are. We are the soul energy. We are the tree. And anything that's not that can be acknowledged and dissolved in the same way if it doesn't serve anymore. And certainly anything fear-based, anything disharmonious, unresolved, can be approached this way. It's just energy. It's been locked in, and now I'm containing it in that beautiful space of unconditional love and acceptance, and I'm facing it, and I'm actually looking straight at it, and I'm being deeply with it. I hear you, I see you. This part of you, maybe it's the 5-year-old, maybe it's the 25-year-old, maybe it's you a week ago, maybe it's a different lifetime. You don't even have to know. It's just a part of you, but it's also not really you. It's a construct. It's an energy based on a feeling. And it's not who you are anymore, and it is not who you are becoming on the path to mastery. Just like you created it, you can uncreate it. It's okay, I can do this. Never presented with anything I can handle. I am here, I am now. I accept you, I hear you, I get it. I'm sorry this happened. I really am sorry this happened. But you know what? Fuck them. Fuck the bastards. I am not going to be held hostage to that thing that happened. I'm not going to be held hostage to my own stupid choices or those of others in the past. I am not going to be held hostage by fear or by pain. No, champion yourself, champion your potential, champion the love in you. No matter what you've done, what someone else has done to you, what has happened, you can choose to be a hostage to that pain, to that loss, to that shame for the rest of your life, or you can choose to champion the love in you, the potential for mastery in you, the greatness in you. And both of them can't coexist. You gotta make a choice. Either you let go of the self-imposed limitation, because it doesn't have to mean anything about you, it's just something that happens. That's part of the learning experiences, part of the challenges. You don't have to know why it happened. All you have to know is you can move on. You feel it, you acknowledge it, you accept it, you be grateful, you let it go as you anchor the new. Dissolve it. This construct of who I thought myself to be is just a thing. It's a belief, it's a feeling, it's a judgment. And I can let it go. I can truly let it completely go to the roots and beyond. And then re-choose, recreate. Who am I now based on what I'm sensing and feeling from the tree, through my heart, through my central column. Let the tree inform you of what you can be, what you are becoming, what you need to become. And everything else is just baggage, items in your karmic suitcase, stuff you've been dragging along. You don't have to. If you can feel them, if you can see them, if you can acknowledge them, then you can let them go. Make your peace and realize it is not who you are. And it certainly does not define you. The tree is what defines you, if you let it. Everything else is just passing through, taking life in, turning it into love, and it just keeps moving through. Give yourself permission. And that part of you might resist that entified feeling that you've created inside of you, might kick and scream a bit, not want to let go, tell you you're crazy for letting it go, tell you you can't. It's just defense mechanisms. It's not true. You know it's not true. You are the boss of this 4-body system. You decide what stays and what goes. You do it lovingly, you do it with acceptance, you do it with gratitude, but you do it. If you have to stay here all night, faced with this tantrum-prone little toddler, then that's what you do, because the only way out of this is you win. The fear loses. The pain loses. The pain ends. The fear ends. The shame ends. The judgment ends. That's the only acceptable ending to this story. It goes, it dissolves. It's a memory, it's a lesson, but it is not you. And everything in you that believed that you were it, you were that feeling, you were that belief, you were that shame, whatever it was, You let that go too, because that was an illusion, that was a lie. Allow yourself to just rediscover anew who and what you can be. You don't need to remember all the details of what happened. You don't need to understand why it happened. All you need to do is process the energy out, let it go, re-choose. Ground the new choice, harmonize in the new choice. Make yourself be in harmony with your new choice, with the choice of the tree. So when you process energy like that, anything you need to learn from the experience will alchemically integrate. It will land into the soul matrix. You don't need, with your ego mind, to understand any of it. That's just the ego trying to control the process. You don't need to understand. You need to feel it, you need to deeply acknowledge it and get it and accept it and make your peace with it. And be grateful and let it go. Make room for who you truly are instead of who you thought you were. Tiny little egoic deaths, lots and lots and lots of them, is part of the process. Part of your negative ego just dies, dissolves, goes away into nothingness, so you can be more the soul tree. Dissolving the egoic construct, that's a limitation, that's getting in the way. And part of that is the pain, the trauma, the anger, the judgment. They're not the enemy, but it's not helping the process. So you bring it into a place of acceptance, of gratitude, so it can be released in that peacefulness, with love. And that energy will return to where it belongs in your timeline. Past lives, past years. But it will be refined in the process because you've accepted it, because you've held it in unconditional love, because you've acknowledged it, because you're grateful for whatever that process is bringing you. You can either stay the same or you can evolve, but you can't do both. And the ego is afraid of changing because, you can't control change from an egoic perspective. And so you can also transmute that fear. If you are changing to be a closer expression of the great being that you are, how can that be a bad thing? You're going to only bring more love, more light, more truth to yourself, to everyone in your life, to the planet. Surely that's the highest choice. Watch out the sentimental attachments. Oh yeah, but hey, if I change, my partner might not like me as much, or I might, not resonate with my job, or, well, what's more important? You don't know how people are going to respond. Most people don't notice, to be honest, a lot of the time. But even if they do, if they love you and you're becoming a more radiant version of yourself, isn't that a wonderful thing for them? If staying small, staying limited by fear and shame is part of what makes your relationships work, well, maybe you need to review that a little bit. Change the rules. Because doesn't sound healthy. But it's amazing how people can adapt. You can adapt, and those who love you can adapt. If what you bring to them is more love, more light, and a better version of you, a less fearful, less shamed, less wounded version of you, that can only be good for everyone involved, including your kids. Letting go, grounding more of the new, making room, dissolving the beliefs, everything in your head, lenses and masks and self-concept beliefs that you tell yourself about what you are and who you are, dissolving the traumas, the wounds, the pains, the things you're holding on to, which are taking up room for the wrong things. Stopping you from being more of the true you. Do you have the courage to do this? That's up to you. You don't have to know how it's going to be on the other side. You'll discover as you go along. And Spirit will co-create with you, especially if you're actually partnering with your tree. You're going to get extra support because you're willing to partner. Learning to be comfortable with change is an absolute essential on this path. You can't evolve, activate, switch on and not change. And that's going to keep happening. There's going to be more stuff coming up. That's all the stuff that disagrees with the next phase of change for you. You got to be okay to let it go. You got to be okay to release. And you got to be okay to just let the tree inform you about your new choice and becoming that new choice. Letting yourself embody what the tree is suggesting that you become. You feel it deep in your heart of hearts and you feel it through the central column. Through your connection with the tree. And everything else, dissolve, wash away, let go. And when you get good at this, every day you reinvent yourself to some degree. A lot of people don't even notice, but you'll feel it in yourself. Over a longer period of time, people around you start to notice that you're different, that you've changed, but by then they've had a bit of time to adapt.